On this edition for Sunday, January 12th, the administration defends U.S. drone attacks. House Democrats prepare to deliver impeachment articles this week. And in our signature segment, the sounds of singer Concha Buica. Next on PBS NewsHour Weekend.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wachenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments.
Consumer Cellular offers no-contract wireless plans that are designed to help you do more of the things you enjoy. Whether you're a talker, texter, browser, photographer, or a bit of everything, our U.S.-based customer service team is here to find a plan that fits you. To learn more, go to consumercellular.tv.
Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you. From the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center in New York, Hari Srinivasan.
Good evening and thanks for joining us today. White House officials continue to defend President Trump's decision to kill Iranian General Qasem Soleimani. The president said Friday that he believes Soleimani was planning attacks on 4 American embassies. Questioned repeatedly this morning, both the Secretary of Defense and the National Security Advisor said they shared the president's view that there could have been multiple embassies targeted. Neither official gave specific evidence. On CBS, Defense Secretary Mark Esper was asked if the specific threat about 4 U.S. embassies being targeted was also shared with Congress.
Well, the president didn't say there was a tangible, he didn't cite a specific piece of evidence. What he said is he believed.
Are you saying there wasn't one?
I didn't see one with regard to 4 embassies. What I'm saying is I share the president's view that probably my expectation was they were going to go after our embassies. The embassies are the most prominent display of American presence in a country.
Both Esper and National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien called the intelligence of an imminent threat, quote, exquisite.
It's always difficult, even with the exquisite intelligence that we have, to know exactly what the targets are, but it's certainly consistent with the intelligence to assume that they would have hit embassies in at least 4 countries.
Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi said today she does not think the Trump administration has been, quote, straight with the Congress of the United States about the reasons for killing Soleimani. Pelosi would not elaborate on the intelligence briefing since the drone attack, but did say she believes the so-called Gang of 8 leaders in the House and Senate should have been briefed in advance. On ABC this morning, Pelosi announced that she will hold a closed-door Democratic caucus meeting on Tuesday morning to decide when to send the articles of impeachment to the Senate. The Speaker defended her decision to delay the delivery of the articles to the Senate for more than 3 weeks after the House impeached President Trump in December.
What we did want, though, and we think we accomplished in the past few weeks, is that we wanted the public to see the need for witnesses with firsthand knowledge of what happened, documentation, which the president has prevented from coming to the Congress as we review this.
But as you know, Leader McConnell didn't budge on witnesses at all. He's not promising.
Well, I think that he will be accountable to the American people for that.
Joining us now for more on the impeachment that's coming and the 2020 campaign is special correspondent Jeff Greenfield, who is in Santa Barbara. So here we are, finally. Nancy Pelosi took some time. She said that she wouldn't do this until she was ready. She says now she's ready to hand it over to the Senate. What do we know, what do we not know about what changed her mind?
Well, we know what changed her mind is a certain amount of pressure and the threat that the Senate might just scrap the whole idea. But it's what we don't know that I think is the dominant issue. We do not know really what the impeachment will look like. We do not know whether or not witnesses will be called, whether or not, if McConnell says no witnesses, there will be 4 Republican senators to defect and insist that witnesses come and that documents be provided. We do not know if the Senate votes that, whether the White House will invoke executive privilege on some key potential witnesses, like former National Security Advisor Bolton or Chief of Staff Mulvaney. We do not know what would happen if the senators try to override a ruling by the Chief Justice, who presides over the Senate on issues like admitting witnesses. So there's a range of things we don't know about how this impeachment will play out.
What does the White House, I guess, and its allies do with the possibility of any of these senators who defect from the party line?
The first thing they do is what we've already seen this week. There's enormous pressure on Republicans in the House and Senate to stay with the president on everything. When Senator Mike Lee of Utah, very conservative, objected to the kind of briefings that they were getting after the strike in Iraq, Lou Dobbs, one of the president's champions, called the senator a Benedict Arnold. So that's the first thing, put enormous political pressure. Whether you can put political pressure on senators like Susan Collins and Cory Gardner, who are up for re-election in swing states, that's an interesting question. And the second thing, as I mentioned, was they can try to invoke executive privilege and tell people like John Bolton and Mulvaney, you can't testify, and we don't know whether Bolton in particular would defy the White House. It's going to be an interesting couple of weeks.
Yeah, so here we are, finally, the couple of weeks are now in January of 2020. We've got Iowa and New Hampshire just around the corner, and it seems that wherever I look, there's new polling data. Oh, this person's up by 2, this person's up by 6. Is this worth paying attention to?
You know, I've often said that polling is the crack cocaine of political journalists. I mean, you look at the headlines, you know, Sanders surging, and then you look and you realize the first 4 candidates in Iowa are separated by 5 points, with only 40% of Iowans saying they've made up their mind. And I haven't even mentioned the fact that 2 billionaires out there, Steyer and Bloomberg, are spending like crazy. Steyer's picked up some support in South Carolina and Nevada. Bloomberg is spending $200 million, most of it in states that don't have primaries for a month or more. So it's a completely unanalyzable situation if you're trying to figure out where do we go from here.
If there are people like Mr. Bloomberg contesting something further down the line, well, what does this do to how important those early states were or are?
It has the potential to completely undermine the enormous overcoverage of those early states. And I'm sure for some of those politicians in those states, they're worried about breaking their rice bowl, as they say in China. They're worried that if Bloomberg, and I guess Steyer, demonstrates that you can skip those early states and with an infusion of huge amounts of money, change the dynamic of the whole campaign, I think in future years, those states may lose some of their clout.
All right, Jeff Greenfield joining us from Santa Barbara. Thanks so much.
Okay.
For more on the 2020 presidential race and the latest on the impeachment inquiry, visit pbs.org/newshour. There are 3 strains of the crippling and sometimes deadly polio virus. The World Health Organization has declared 2 of them eradicated, and the 3rd is on the run. NewsHour Weekend special correspondent Benedict Moran and video journalist Jorgen Samso have our story from Nigeria.
In this town on the outskirts of Abuja, the capital of Nigeria, community health workers are searching for children.
Fine boy. Alpha.
They're looking for anyone under 5 who hasn't yet been vaccinated against the wild polio virus. That means going street by street and house by house until every child gets the oral polio vaccine.
We are combing the border. We are ensuring that every child eligible 0 to 59 months is vaccinated.
Unvaccinated children are immediately given 2 drops orally, and their finger is marked to show that they've been immunized. Polio is a highly infectious disease that mainly affects children. It can cause permanent paralysis, even death. There is no cure, so it can only be prevented by immunization.
There's one good thing about the people here. They are cooperative. When they see us, they ensure that they'll bring out their children. We are known faces here.
But vaccinators have not always been known and trusted here. A generation ago, Nigeria had the 2nd highest caseload of polio in the world and the highest in Africa. Many, like 42-year-old Dangana Musa, were infected. As a young child, he lost the ability to walk.
I remember when I used to play with children, they would run around and I would not be able to. I would just sit and cry and clean away my tears.
Musa now works for the polio campaign. His job is to teach his neighbors about the importance of getting immunized.
I was told it was important for me to tell my brothers and sisters to go with me to the hospital so that we can end this disease, so that no one else gets it after us.
Musa may now have reason to celebrate.
After 3 years with no wild polio cases, Nigeria is set to be certified polio-free.
The World Health Organization will make the decision sometime this year after reviewing Nigeria's epidemiological data. If it can confirm the data and make the certification, it would mean that the entire continent of Africa would be clear of wild polio. How the continent got that way is a long story that began when the first polio vaccine was introduced in the United States in the 1950s. The virus was last seen in America in 1979. But it remained devastating in much of the world, paralyzing more than 350,000 people every year in 125 countries as recently as 1988. In Nigeria, most cases of polio infection used to come from the north. Education here is lower than in the rest of the country, and misinformation about vaccines still exists here.
Just like in the United States where you have the vaccine assistant groups, there are people that their religion would say, I don't want to access healthcare services because I don't believe in vaccinations. There's a small group like that. There's another group that culturally, they don't believe in Western medicine, they don't believe in immunization. Then there's the group that is just not aware.
Another group working to thwart the vaccine effort is Boko Haram, the extremist militant group trying to overthrow Nigeria's government and establish an Islamic State. Opposed to anything that smacks of Western education and values, Boko Haram militants attacked and killed 2 women in 2013 who were vaccinating children. That was when Boko Haram was active in half of Nigeria's states. After years of fighting, the Nigerian government says they are now confined to remote areas of northeast Nigeria. But the region is still sometimes too dangerous for health workers. So vaccinators have worked with the Nigerian military to train soldiers to vaccinate children. They've also turned to radio and TV ads to counter vaccine resistance and encourage new parents to vaccinate children. Another strategy. Health workers have trained 20,000 women who, because they knew the local language and customs, became vaccine ambassadors. Training women was crucial because northern Nigeria is conservative and male health workers unrelated to family members often cannot access a household. But women health workers can, and they've been able to gain the trust of community members. Polio workers have also brought the pro-vaccination messages directly to traditional leaders and mosques, where some imams, instead of becoming obstacles, have become educators. Here on the outskirts of the northern city of Kano, Imam Yahya Bello Abubakar is training a group of young women. In turn, they will educate their villages about diseases, including polio.
We all have to put in efforts. We have to be involved to help create awareness about the dangers of this disease. We are putting a lot of energy into it. Together we will eradicate the disease.
3 years of being polio-free is a milestone Nigerian workers are proud of. Kabiru Rabiu has worked on eliminating the disease here for nearly 3 decades.
From all the signs we have been seeing, we are on the verge of getting out polio from Nigeria. I will be extremely happy. I will be euphoric because this is one of the longest public health intervention compared to eradication of smallpox.
Dangana Musa, too, would celebrate the end of the wild virus in Africa.
We take it with gladness of heart because what we have worked for has now been achieved.
We like to lump our music and our musicians into categories. This one's rock, this one's R&B, this one is classical, etc. But there are some artists who defy genres. One is Concha Buika, or simply Buika as she calls herself professionally. From singing in tiny jazz clubs as a teen to taking the stage last year as lead vocalist in the band Santana, she's carved a path all her own. Buika joined NewsHour Weekend's Tom Casciato to discuss a musical style that appears to come from everywhere at once.
In a small studio in a Miami suburb, Buika listens back to a vocal for an upcoming album.
He's driving me to paradise. It's a beautiful, beautiful song that talks about when you lost someone and you don't realize it and you don't want to, you don't want to talk to yourself and say to yourself, hey, that's over, Yeah. When you keep going and keep going in your mind with that, like an obsession in your mind.
Her obsession at this moment is getting her vocal part exactly right. She tries another take.
Okay.
Your secret of love is falling. This pain is driving me to paradise. Baby, please.
Vamos a revisar.
Mercy of love.
The only obsession I have in this world is music. And the person that comes to love you have to realize that you already have your first love, which is the music, you know.
That can't be easy for the other person who loves you.
I understand, but you know, it's a reality. When I work for the humanity. That's a big, big thing.
A tu lado como nunca me sentí. Y que por esas cosas raras de la vida.
Describing her vocal style is difficult because she fuses flamenco with jazz, soul, blues, Spanish folk music, and so many additional styles, it's no wonder she's been called a singer from everywhere. Clearly, that's a notion she embraces.
I love all the countries of the world because I'm from them. I'm from Nigeria, I'm Italian, I'm Cuban, I'm Colombian too. I love Colombia, I'm Colombian, of course I'm Colombian. Yeah. I'm Brazilian. I'm from Brazil, too.
She's actually from Spain, the daughter of political refugees who fled the dictatorship in their home of Equatorial Guinea.
My mama and my papa, they left Africa. They came to Palma de Mallorca in Spain, which is an amazing, beautiful island.
For most of her youth, Buika was raised by her single mother.
You know, my father left when I was 9 years old. We were like 9, 10 people at home, and my father wasn't there. And my mama uses the music as a resource, as a weapon against sadness at home, because the situation was not easy. And she didn't recognize between the different pop tribes, you know, like rock, blues, opera music, whatever. To my mom, all the music was the same. She used to dance everything, you know, African style, even if it was Pavarotti.
That makes a lot of sense to me because your music includes so many musics in it. I was listening to your song Deadbeat, one of your recent releases, and I was trying to describe it to a friend, and I said it's kind of techno-prog reggae with some New Orleans trombone.
Yeah.
But music didn't make her childhood easy. She was raised in virtually the only black family in her community.
What was that like for you?
Well, sometimes good, sometimes strange, sometimes horrible. At that time, to grow in a place where you are the unique in something, obviously you're gonna have a lot of trouble. Everybody around you make you feel like, you know, that you're not gonna be able to be someone, you know, in your life because you were born that way. It was like, wow, you're a black girl, just because you are a black girl, you probably won't be able to do absolutely nothing. I felt that it was a bad luck, my life, you know, and I didn't feel comfortable with it. And I was angry. I was just angry. But then life taught me that that's not true. No matter if you are white in a country where everybody is Chinese, if you do your things right, you can reach the moon.
No te asombres si te digo lo que fuiste.
Buika was intent on doing her music right. She first began to perform in public as a teenager.
I was singing everywhere, in weddings, in clubs, and everywhere I was singing all types of music.
And how old were you when you knew you were an artist?
I still don't know, because I'm still working on it, you know.
Her voice got her into the music business, but its uniqueness went unrecognized at first.
At one point, you made your way to Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that in Las Vegas you were a Tina Turner impersonator.
Yes, sir.
What was that like?
Cool.
Yeah? But did you ever say to yourself, damn, I have this great voice, why am I impersonating another great singer when I'm a great singer?
Well, because when you sing for someone, doesn't matter if you are in a big stage, in a small stage, in a wedding, in your home singing for your family, or singing for someone who's ill because you want to make him feel good. That is a big stage.
She was already in her 30s when she released the first album credited solely to her. With her third in 2008, she was nominated for a Latin Grammy. That's an award she would win in 2010 for her collaboration with the legendary Cuban pianist and composer Chucho Valdés. And soon, the former wedding singer was playing a wedding singer in a film by Oscar-winning Spanish director Pedro Almodóvar. Buika is also an accomplished songwriter. I want to ask you about one of your songs, your most recent single, which basically says over and over again, I love you, go away.
Yes, sir. Vete que te quiero, which means get the hell out of here because I love you, you know. I know that the sentence is a little bit contradictory, but it is not. You sometimes know that this someone that you are falling in love with is not good for you. Love is beautiful, and love is the best. But love sometimes can also be a bitch.
Today, the woman who was told as a kid she wouldn't amount to anything has become one of the most accomplished singers around. Do you think there will ever be a Buika impersonator in Las Vegas?
I don't think so.
Why not? It could happen.
No.
What advice would you give to her if there was a Buika impersonator in Las Vegas in the future?
Married to a lawyer. We have to celebrate life all the time. I celebrate life all the time in my home, with my son, with my lover, with my mama, with my brothers and sisters, and with all the people that I know. And I'm gonna do it till my last day, because this life's been a gift. I'm not scared to show who I am.
This is PBS NewsHour Weekend, Sunday.
In the Italian Alps, at a ski resort that thrives on the snow and ice of a vast glacier, climate change is not music to anyone's ears. Since 1993, this glacier has lost more than a third of its volume. But now, an American ice sculptor is using his talents to turn ice into musical instruments for a series of chilly concerts with a message.
The Ice Music Festival presents artistic and physical challenges to musicians and audiences alike. Winter gear is required in temperatures that hover around 32 degrees. The concert hall is an igloo built with 10 tons of snow.
We have blow-up balloons, and you start throwing snow at the balloons and water, and you slowly grow the mountain of snow over the top of your balloons. And then you come inside with chainsaws and you sculpture the entire inside of the space.
Tim Linhart first made ice sculptures in his native New Mexico, where he had the idea to make an ice violin. It shattered when he over-tightened the strings.
B flat.
Since then, he's managed to make a wide range of instruments.
It's difficult to build the different instruments for different reasons. Each instrument has its own difficulty. Either maybe it's so fine and delicate and easy to break, or hard to get inside the small places, or it's so big and heavy it's hard to pick up and move around.
There will be 54 concerts in the igloo from the beginning of January through the end of March. Organizers hope the unusual sounds of ice music will draw attention to the shrinking glacier and to climate change.
If the climate changes, we will not be able to live this kind of experience. So our message we want to send out is for us all to look after our environment and climate.
NewsHour will have complete coverage of the 7th Democratic debate on Tuesday in Des Moines, Iowa, and the latest news from Congress on the votes that will move the impeachment of President Trump from the House to trial in the Senate. That's all for this edition of PBS NewsHour Weekend. I'm Hari Srinivasan. Thanks for watching. Have a good night.
PBS NewsHour Weekend is made possible by Bernard and Irene Schwartz, Sue and Edgar Wachenheim III, the Cheryl and Philip Milstein family, Rosalind P. Walter, Barbara Hope Zuckerberg, Charles Rosenblum. We try to live in the moment to not miss what's right in front of us. At Mutual of America, we believe taking care of tomorrow can help you make the most of today. Mutual of America Financial Group, retirement services and investments. Additional support has been provided by the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, a private corporation funded by the American people, and by contributions to your PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
You're watching PBS.